Welcome back to a quick chat in the Cadillac. My name is SG. I like to explore the simplicity of complexity. If you don't know, this is my show where I break it down for you both real and quick. Today I got a nice little topic for y'all called analysis paralysis. And what analysis paralysis is, let's get into it. Analysis paralysis, very simple. It's the idea that you're overthinking things so much that it puts you in a state where you feel as though you cannot act. Does that sound familiar? Maybe yes, maybe no. But today I'm gonna break it down for you, ho. Analysis paralysis comes from a place of fear, and as we all know, fear is the number one driving and motivating factor on a collective level for action. And if you don't quite grasp it yet, fear is an action in and of itself. The act of being afraid and the act of overthinking is just overstimulating your brain with more and more questions about an outcome than the actual required analysis to make an educated decision, justifies. So that you don't have to act. And your justification for not acting is, I'm still thinking about it. But analysis paralysis is dangerous because if there's a central theme for anything on this channel, I'd have to make a strong case for the idea that once you stop moving, you are stagnant. And once you are stagnant, you are slowly dying. And, there's nuances to that. But today we're talking about analysis paralysis. So I want you to picture something. I want you to imagine something. Okay, think of a puzzle, and you're completing it upside down. You know the cardboard side where it's just all gray and cardboard? You're completing the puzzle that way. You're looking at the upside down side of the puzzle. So you don't have no clue what the puzzle looks like, and you have one piece left before you can flip it over and see the complete picture. Right? But there's several different pieces. You get an array of pieces, 10, 20, 30, it doesn't matter, pieces that could fit into that last spot. And even if you turn each puzzle piece over and over and you analyze every section and corner, because you don't know what the full picture is yet, you don't know which one is the right one until you just put a fucking piece in there and flip the puzzle over. This is where analysis paralysis could hurt people, because let's say that you're staring at this and you're so obsessed with having the correct puzzle, the correct piece for the picture on the front of the puzzle, that you are just analyzing every possible thing that you can. You're analyzing the probability that the puzzle would look like this, or look like this, or you're analyzing where the puzzle was bought and what kind of puzzles they sell. Or you're analyzing, maybe these pieces all kind of fit, but some of them fit even better or more snug or more loose, or which one would be truer to form and fashion of all the other pieces in their fits. When the whole time you could just put a piece of the puzzle in there and flip it around and see. I tried to break it down in a way where it makes a lot more sense on a logistics level, because when you if you can't flip the puzzle over without putting in the last piece, why not just pick a piece and put it there and see what the puzzle looks like? I get it. Maybe it's very time consuming. Maybe if you flip it over, put the last piece, and now it's wrong, you try to flip it back over, you'll lose a couple pieces or the whole puzzle falls apart. Maybe you turn it over and it's not the right piece, but the puzzle still looks good for some reason, or it looks artistic, it looks intentional with the wrong piece in there. Or maybe you get it exactly right. Here's the issue, though. You'll never be able to tell with all that analysis paralysis. Because you could identify a problem from every possible angle, or a solution to a problem from every possible angle. All right? If you're starting with the problem itself, there's a million ways to solve a problem, so it's going to be a long time before you actually take an action. But even over analyzing a solution will put you in a state of like, okay, well, if we put this solution in, then this could happen, or this could happen, or this could happen. So should we even put it, or should we try should we try like a mesh of the solution, or a combination of solutions, or like, should we alter the solution? All that is counterproductive. Okay, I'm not saying that you should act impulsively and just do shit randomly, but the truth of the matter is, analysis paralysis is an obstacle. What it's meant to do, what analysis paralysis effectively does, what overthinking effectively does, is stall the actual problem, or stall the solution, or stall the decision or action that you're pondering, that you're trying to make. And the idea is, by the time you actually figure out what you want to do, if you ever figure that shit out, the window will have passed. You'll have delayed so much, or the problem will solve itself, or it'll have completely erupted to the point where the solution isn't even a question anymore. And for you, that might provide a momentary relief. Oh, at least I don't have to make this decision anymore. Oh, at least I don't have to analyze. But the consequences could be drastic. The consequences could be exponential. And maybe you didn't factor in your calculation exactly how long you have before the consequences of you not making a decision start compounding to be worse than any other outcome you might have picked, potentially. So don't overanalyze the puzzle. At some point, you have to make a decision. Now, I'm all for making educated and informed decisions. I'm all for thinking it through. You think this big-ass head that I got is used to not think? Absolutely not. Okay, I think about a lot of shit, and I am someone who has had, if not currently has, a tendency to overthink a lot of things. But at some point, the action has to match, or else you'll never make any progress. And as we know, no progress equals stagnancy. Stagnancy equals death. And I don't want death for you, okay? The only death you should be experiencing is death that is immediately followed by rebirth on your levels of progression. But death that comes after a period of stagnancy, especially when it's caused by overthinking, analysis paralysis, that just don't seem that beneficial to you. It just don't seem that favorable of an outcome to you. So how do I know when I'm overthinking something? I'll tell you. Because you've already went over your options, your reasonable options. I'm not saying like, oh, if I have a decision to run or walk, what about if I fly? Like, okay, you're not going to fly to the bus stop 10 yards down the road. Okay, but if you're making the decision, once you've analyzed the options, it's time for you to choose. There's going to be consequences either way. There's not really ever a perfect solution, a perfect answer for any problem or any decision or any choice that you encounter in your life. But you'll be able to understand which one of these outcomes is more favorable, at least from this perspective, by just assessing things. The more you practice assessing things quickly and making decisions quickly, the better you'll be at making decisions in general. Okay, and I'm not talking about making impulsive decisions. Like, you have to weigh your options and make a decision. Trust your instinct. Move forward with what feels like is alignment with what you want in life, what you truly want, not what anyone else wants, what you truly want. Those are the kind of decisions that teach you things, whether the consequences are crazy heavy or the consequences actually result in you improving and making a lot of progress. The way that you get to that point where you feel comfortable and confident in your decision making is by making decisions. So it's okay to think about things. It's okay to think about them deeply, to reflect on your feelings and decide what you think will be best for you. Absolutely. That is an important process in everyday life. But to sit there and remain stuck in thinking or not thinking essentially means you're making a decision to not make a decision. So the universe is going to say, we'll make the decision for you. A lot of times you miss the opportunity entirely. And even though that may make you feel comfortable, it may be more familiar for you to do so, missing the opportunity means you miss out on all the potential benefits and experiences that the opportunity would have provided. It means you missed out on a lot of potential progress that you could have made. So analysis paralysis is essentially the worst decision you could make. To sit there and be stuck in the process of overanalyzing everything, overthinking everything, worst decision you could make. If you use that as a baseline to say, okay, well, if I just sit here and think about it forever, that would be worse than either option, maybe you'll find more comfort in either one of the options, or of the many options. So that's my message for you today. Hopefully you never are paralyzed, period. But analysis paralysis, a lot of times, is something that you can control. Maybe there's a few exceptional cases out there where, it's not really something they do have control over, but you're not one of those, I'm guessing. So even if you are, it doesn't hurt to try. That's all I got for today. Peace.